What up? It's your boy Siege, and I'm going to talk about Welcome to the Family album, and which I have right here ahead of everyone else, and what the concept is and why I recorded it, and a little bit about each track. The first track I recorded for this album was Anthem, and I made that track when I wanted to actually had the chorus and all that stuff lined up a long time ago, like months back, and I never really ended up working on it because it wasn't appropriate for either one of the albums I had previously. So I didn't do it. But Anthem is more so about getting my name out there and just creating a fun anthem that people can listen to. Yeah, Siege, fucking Siege. I diss a lot of rappers in there. Nicki Minaj, I can't stand that bitch. Lil Wayne, Tyga, I can't stand them. And so the second verse and the third verse are basically about taking care of them. Second track I made off the album was Welcome to the Family, and that is the title track of the album, and that is more so about being a whole, a complete family, and feeling the need to take care of your family and being binded by them. They're always going to be there for you. They're always going to be your friends. So that's why I made that album. Also, I was watching The Godfather at the time, so that was a big inspiration for me to make that track. The third song I made was the Vignoli Grape song. Now, I want to do something a little different with that, so I found a beat that it started off kind of high, on a high pace, and then it toned it down with BPM and lowered that a little bit, so I took advantage of that. And I was listening to David Banner Play. I don't remember that song. I was listening to that day, so I decided to tone it down a notch and go high and energetic on the first piece, and then on the second piece I slowed it down a little bit. So that's what I did with that. Track number 4 I made is Revolver. Revolver is actually about typical, if you watch the old mob movies, they're ready to whack somebody, they put a hit on somebody. So I kind of wrapped that concept around the track, and I found an absolute beat that I loved. And I was influenced by Eminem a little bit on this one. You can kind of hear it in the vocal tones and the rhyme patterns I use. I recorded that track, so he was an influence for me on that one. So that was Revolver. And then I made track number 5, which is actually number 1 in the 4-part story of The Kind, Sentirum, and Misfortune. Track number 1 was basically, it was originally called True Blue Part 1. Or Part 2 rather. I made it as almost like a sequel to the first song I had off Cat Carnival, my album, which is Friend and Foe. So I kind of did that, and that deals with the same concept of keep your friends close but your enemies closer type thing. So I stuck with that, and I had that in mind when I was making the character of The Kind, that he has these friends who he trusts, but later on in the stories and in the songs you'll see where they kind of go against it. So that was the first part. Then I made Goodfellas, which is one of my personal favorites off the album, because I take a sample from the movie Goodfellas. Ray Liotta's character's talking when Tommy's going to get made. So I took that one and I put that in the beginning, and I worked over the beat Affirmative Action by Nas, which I felt that had a very Italian vibe to it, so I thought that would stick well with the concept of the album, so I used that. I think it worked out really good, and the chorus is cool on that one too. I like the little hook at the end, and then you can hear the gunshots going off, so I really like Goodfellas. That's a cool track. Till Death Do Us Part is actually kind of a love tale, and it's kind of like a tragic Bonnie and Clyde mafioso type tale of two lovers who are on the run, who committed crimes, who had decisions to make as well. And I had my ex-girlfriend actually fill in and do the picture for that, which is quite controversial, as you guys probably already know. But I mean, I love this track. I think it's fun. I think it's a lot of fun. It actually samples a little piece of Casablanca at the beginning of it, so that's it. Track number 8 I made is actually part 2 in the story of The Lion Rider, and that is the treason of Sentirum. And Sentirum is more so kind of on to The Kind and what his little schemes are that he has going on, and he plans on committing treason almost against him, which is where you get the name of the song, Treason of Sentirum. Sentirum is basically interlocked in this web type thing with The Kind, and he plans on exposing him to who he is, and he's challenging him and saying, well, I don't know you, You don't know me, so why do you think you're any better than me? And not that the kind is a dictator, but he's kind of a bum, you know what I mean? Then track 9 we actually made was Lion Rider 3, and that is The Lies and Secrets of Misfortune. Now Misfortune and Santirum are a couple, and the kind of has this thing where if anybody commits a crime against him or goes against his will, he's almost like a dictator type thing, like I said before. He will do what he has to do, and he will actually shed blood on the families who are committing like lies and treason against him. So Misfortune knows that her husband Santirum committed this treason against the kind, and now she's faced with a decision either to kill Santirum or risk both of their lives and expose the kind for who he is and deal with what Santirum did. Track number 10, Propose a Toast. This is actually physical end almost of the Welcome to the Family album, because Welcome to the Family technically was only 7 songs, I believe it was, and then the 4-part story was kind of a separate thing. But Propose a Toast is basically like in celebration. It's almost a celebration at the end of the album, and you know, raise your glasses, please raise them up high to the twilight skies, telling you not to give up and just keep pushing towards your dreams and your hopes and all that stuff. So that was a fun track for me to do. Track number 11, which is the final track of Welcome to the Family. That is called The Fall of the Kind, and that is where people who are above the kind know what he's on to now. They know what he's doing. They know what he's committed. So they actually condemn him to death. So he wants his crown back. He wants to be king again, but they're on to it. There's nothing you can do about it now. So he's condemned to death, and the whole song is basically about, well, I want my king back, or I want my throne back rather, and I want my crown. You know, when I exit this life, you know, will I get that crown back? And he also says, you know, focus on the good that I've done and not the wrong that I've done during my life. You'll hear that, I believe, in the second verse of that track. Then track 12 is actually a little silent piece that I have going on there, leading into a hidden track, which the hidden track is, I don't know if you're familiar with the local rapper Gunzel, but I mean, I'm not the type to really hate on anybody who's doing their own thing, but if you're just fucking up and you're ruining everything, fucking stop, you know what I mean? So it's like, I made track 13 as like a diss towards him after the little silent piece, and that's one lucky ass, oh God, please make it stop. And it was kind of a popular track. I mean, I put it out in one day and it had almost 150, 170 views now, so it's like, I mean, it did pretty good things with that, so I decided to include that on there for the hell of it, because I know he's making a track towards me and I'm waiting for that release so I can fire back with another one, because I mean, I do believe that diss tracks are actually my strong point. So that's it. The album is out November 20th in physical copies, and it'll be out November 11th on datpiff.com, and you can check out my YouTube page, which you're already probably on it. Enjoy the album. I think it's probably one of my strongest ones.